Good evening, everyone, or good morning. We got good evening and morning going on here. It is Thursday in the US, but in Aussie, Australia, it is Friday morning, 9:50 a.m. to be exact, 7:50 Eastern Standard Time in the United States. This is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with
TwoSistas. Hey, good evening, everyone in the USA. It is Trending Thursday at night. And good morning to everyone in Australia. It is Fantabulous Friday. So we're going to start with Thursday. We'll work into Friday. But today, this evening, we have an amazing guest. And we welcome the founder of Xali, the amazing Naz De Bono. Welcome to the TwoSistas podcast family.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, wonderful.
So, Naz, we know that for a lot of women in our respectable age bracket, some people call it menopause, but you refer to it as it's not menopause, it's metamorphosis. Let's start there.
I think when I started going through I'm going to call it a transition. I actually really don't like the term menopause because it has so much stigma and taboo attached to it. So as I started going through a transition that I didn't really understand, I decided I wanted to find out all the different things that could help me. And I really did try everything. And it wasn't until I did a TEDx talk and I was really reaching down deep inside myself about what was this? What was this stage of life that every woman will go through? And I realized it was just like being in a chrysalis and not really knowing what's on the other side until you break out. And it really is a feeling, I think, of breaking out and meeting all the other butterflies, but finding out how to fly. Because we've been moving around in a different way. And that's when I came up with the term, it's not menopause, it's metamorphosis, even though I couldn't say that word when I did TEDx.
Oh my gosh. Now, obviously you're a health coach and you love wellness, you love transformation. And how was Xali formed? Like, did you just wake up one morning and say, okay, this is a business I want to do? How did that evolve into a metamorphosis? Yeah, I'm having trouble saying it too.
Yeah. Should we ditch that word and just talk with normal language now? That's easy. So as a trainer and a coach, I'd always pushed myself and my clients hard, although I did have my speciality was always listen to your body, always listen to my body. But I kickboxed, I boxed, I did weight training, I did all kinds of different modalities. And one-on-one training, I taught all the Les Mills, like body combat, body pump for years. And I loved seeing people lift up in that energy. So when I moved to Australia, I wanted to reach more people. People were missing the way I taught. So I set up a fitness app with some food on it. And it was hardcore workouts. And it was brilliant. And one day, embarrassingly enough, I realized I couldn't do my own workouts anymore. And that was a big wake-up call. I could do them, but I definitely have a fallout of energy either later in the day or later in the week. And it was like I had a bank and I was taking out too many withdrawals and leaving my bank account in the red. And it didn't feel very good. So about that time, I went to the doctors and I had my bloods done and I realized I'd skipped perimenopause and I went straight to menopause. And I'd started to build a small team around me and they were witnessing me going through pretty rubbishy hot flushes, no sleep, and incredible joint pain. Now, I'm someone who prides myself on moving really well. I use Pilates as my core for everything I do. I used to, let's say, Pilates every workout. And they started saying to me, I think we've got an opportunity here because we've been looking and there's nobody out there really looking after women who are going through these changes on all the levels. So movement, food, research, connection. And they said, will you stand up and say, I'm going through menopause and this is my journey? And we had a fight that lasted about 6 to 8 months. And that's when I realized that my identity was wrapped up in this fit PT with a six-pack that could do any workout. That, in fact, I warmed up the Queen's Guards for the Trooping of the Colour, and I could press up more than any of those soldiers in Chelsea barracks. So I had this image of myself, which was, if I ask you to do something, I'll always be able to do it myself. And they wanted me to stand up and say, because of hormonal changes, I'm no longer able to do it. If I do, I will end up with my bank account in the red. So 6 months of talks and 6 months of me saying, yes, I can do it, and then chickening out. And one day I woke up and I just went, if I'm feeling like this, then there's a lot of other women that may be feeling like this. And it's time I stepped up and took responsibility for myself and my daughters and everybody else coming through. And then I really stepped into a place of power and realized that Xali had so much to offer. And we built a team of women. They were all women. And I'll be honest, for the first year, we brainstormed, we played, we worked out how we could bring a real emotional feeling. I channeled before I did any meeting, before I woke up and went to work, I would send them all energy to try and set something up that we could then share with the world of women that will affect men, that I feel we have now created. And I'm on a journey, it's not finished. I won't know until the women that are experiencing Xali tell me how they feel. Because as far as I'm concerned, it scales. Half of it is perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Half of it is emotional training. And once we understand that we listen to our gut, it affects our physical, our mental, and our spiritual. And of course, they're all intertwined. That's when I feel like we'll really get somewhere.
Wow. So specifically, Xali, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know.
No, you're great.
Oh, okay. What significance and what meaning, like, what does that mean to you? Like, how did you come up with that name?
I love that you've asked this question, because it took us a really long time to come up with the name. I mean, so many meetings, so many people coming up with ideas, so many different branding companies coming in, and it was like, no. And then at the end of one 3-hour meeting on naming our company, which the previous name was Redux, which means to once again excel. Yeah, you guys know, to be the ducks of the class. That's what my previous online company was all about. You become the ducks of your world. And so I would have loved to have kept the X, but we just didn't know how. And then at the end of the meeting, someone I work with, Dave, AKA Gravy, went, what about Xali spelt with an X? And one girl started tapping away and she said, I've just checked in the Urban Dictionary and it means super sexy spiritual being. And I think it said something about always finds a way to, it was all about elevating. They said it was for a man, but I instantly knew that was a total mistake and it was totally meant for women. So if you look up Xali in the Urban Dictionary, that was the moment I said, that's how I want women to feel while they are going through navigating brand new changes that we've never experienced before. And the biggest thing is everybody feels it differently. And I'm not going to be standing up saying, okay, this is how we're going to feel. This is what we need to take. This is about bringing a tribe of, let's say, Xalians together. I felt like, have you watched Wonder Woman? You must have watched Yeah. You know that island of women? That's how I feel about Xali. That's what I want to build. A tribe of women who are formidable in every single way, but different ways to each other. They all have a strength. They all have a part. But once they come together, the support that we can give each other is incredible. But that's how we came up with Xali.
That's a cool background for the reasons why. I love it. Where it incorporates probably a meaning that maybe we're thinking on that line, but it really was kind of sealed in its fate. The description of what you were going after, the feeling you were going after, the ambiance of what you were going after. So I absolutely love that. I think that's so cool. I love it when there's a connection that is not expecting, and then you just know it fits. And then you find out the meaning, like, oh my God, this is it.
Yes. It was amazing. And I can't tell you how long we worked on it. And also I could see the imagery. It almost felt like Redux was a part of me. It was a big part of me and I loved it. But I could see the transition, if you like, from the X coming from the end of Redux and then coming up into the beginning of Xali, so that I could elevate myself more, learn more. And I don't know, I don't have the words yet, because it's still something that's growing and coming to me. And like I say, I don't think Xali will ever be complete, because I feel like women will be bringing the knowledge to me that I can then share, because we've built the platform. It's not actually about me. It's just about me saying, we need something. And right. I've got this part of it. I can help you here. But I've got a vision board right under my table of all the women that I am inviting on so many levels to come, because we've built this incredible platform from scratch so that it does everything we want it to do. Like I say, based on how you feel, it's emotional. And it was really hard to think, okay, how the hell do I make AI emotional? How the hell do I take what people say they loved about me specifically as a trainer, which is reading energies? How do I put that into a computer? It's taken ages. I don't think we've actually got there. I think there's more technology to come that will help us do that. And I think that women and maybe some men will approach us and say, I've got an idea. And that's what I'm doing. I'm throwing out, open my arms and saying, come on, come and talk to us. Let's see how we can get better and better, because we can. I just know we can.
Wow. And I think the evolution of starting Xali, you've created that foundation. Carol Sue and I often chat about building a foundation, because we know that you can't build a house without a foundation. And where the experience evolves from that, as within a house, putting up a 2x4 and an L-beam or whatever it may be, you can't put up a beam without
fall straight down.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm going to say right here and now, I've been searching hard for platforms, apps that take care of women as we transition through our different hormonal stages. Now, there are some really good ones, but they don't take care of everything. But what I've noticed is, ladies, we love to talk. Once we find our tribe, we love to actually share how we're feeling. But it made me quite sad, because quite a few of the sites that I found, there wasn't a lot of inspiring stuff coming through. There was a lot of anger, which I totally get. I get a lot of anger going through this period of my life. But I want to allow I want us to be allowed to express ourselves on all the feelings, because New Zealand is famous for having 4 seasons in one day. I have 20 million moods in 1 hour these days. And I'm watching my daughter go through, she's a teenager. I've got 2. They both seem to be changing. And this is reverse puberty, right? So
yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, there are companies out there, but wouldn't it be amazing if what we built here actually attracted energies that wanted to find, because I am not standing here saying, oh, I can make menopause wonderful, because it's not. It's just not. There's some really, really tough bits about it. Some go through worse than me. Some don't even feel it at all. But it's about finding ways to make the best of it until, from what I understand, you get on the other side and then you can go, oh. Is that right? Please
Yes.
tell me it's right.
Oh my gosh. You know, so many times too, when we go through those different seasons in our lives, sometimes, you know, we know that it's expected, and then, but then the unexpected happens, life happens, and that throws us off balance. As far as balancing, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically, what would you say are some of the roadblocks, not only as yourself as a trainer, but that maybe some of your clients have experienced?
There's so many, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many. And I feel like the universe, I've been saying I want to know how I can present the best. And I feel like the universe has gone, here's one, here's one, here's one, experience this. In the last 3 years now, I know a lot of people have been through a lot of stuff. But definitely most women who are starting to go through the metamorphosis have got teenage children. So we've got to balance two ends of hormones, and that's difficult. But what I actually love about this opportunity is, because I'm going through that exactly right now, I am learning how to talk to my girls about being very open about, hey girls, you know, I've told you that I'm going through my hormonal change. I am feeling like I just want to scream today. It's not your fault, but I want to scream, and I want you to understand that. And if I get too much, pull me up. And you're going to be feeling at different times the same things. But once we understand, then we can realize it's not actually about us, it's about, or the other person. So I'd say children. The other thing is, I'm finding that, as you two will know this, women are starting their new careers, their dream careers, or things they're really passionate about much later in life now. So we're balancing homes, families, most of us, pets probably, and then going through not just with a job, but with a vision of what our sole purpose is and what we want to do to help in the world, because that is what's coming through when we get to this midlife area. I'm seeing a lot of my friends go through the same thing. My sister, she lives in Dubai, and she found COVID a very lonely time. Dubai did hard police state-run lockdowns, and I know you guys had similar experiences, and she had no way to let go of stress. And she's got 2 boys and they don't talk very much, and so she started painting and she found it therapeutic. She's now doing this amazing business where she's selling all her paintings, and she's really talented. So through the hardship of menopause, because she started going through it, hot sweat, sleepless nights, angry, upset, anxious, she needed an outlet. That was painting. People saw it. She started a business. So I've kind of twisted and turned here, because I feel like the things that we struggle with, the challenge is to turn it around into a positive, right? And I've had 2 children with one with a very scary health condition that we've lived through in the last 3 years. In fact, most children have amputations with what she had, but she didn't. Oh, wow. And I think what I'm trying to get across here is, most of us only go through perimenopause and menopause from our 40s, although it can happen very early, obviously through medical reasons, but from 38. at that age, we have lots of different responsibilities. So it's finding ways to get through it. I can't meditate. I used to be able to, but I can't now that I have the amount going on in my life that I have. So I'm doing Wim Hof breath, and that helps me. And I do active meditation when I walk. And I make sure that I talk to people who fill my cup and my soul. So that's how I personally balance it. But my daughter will say to me, I'm really sorry, Mama, but I'm just not spiritual stuff doesn't do it for me. That won't help me. If I tell her to slow down her breath, she gets even more angsty. We're all different.
Right. And I think the important thing too is the breathing aspect of it. That's come up a lot today. For instance, I was a little stressed. So I'm like, okay, I got to step back a moment. And I did my 4-7-8, just kind of like,
what's that?
So you, you inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, and then kind of hold it for about 7 seconds, and then slowly let it out. And it's just, I call it my exhale. There's the exhale exercise. And it just kind of puts me in a calm space, or, you know, I play a little music, whatever it may be. Carol Sue, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, I just kind of go into, it really depends on that mood. Sometimes I just need that energy. So I may just blast some damn song and start dancing my ass off. Other times it might be that I need to slow down, and I find that I just put myself on a timeout, you know, like just go to that timeout, sit on the bed, do not have any devices on, don't put the TV on, don't look at your phone, put the fan on, and just, you know, I'll watch the fan go round and round. It's almost like it gets me into this like trance. And I just
really good.
Just kind of like let it go. So it really depends on, you know, whether it's, you know, I'm moody, whether, you know, I'm anxious, or whether I've got this like, you know, want to scream. Usually when I want to scream, which doesn't happen often, but when I do, that's when I'm really like getting my dance on. Because I'm just getting that energy out, and I blast some song that I know I can't resist, that I have to get up and dance. Because there's some songs you're like, I can't get into this. No, I have to know that I'm going to kick ass when I'm dancing it. So, and just feeling that energy as I'm, you know, really exerting energy, I'm exerting it in a fun way, but I'm also expelling the bad energy. So it's kind of like a twofold piece for me.
I love that.
Made me think of when I kickbox, for instance, songs that keep me on beat, or tasks that keep me moving. I know people may laugh at this, is disco music. I don't know why, but if I play anything else, I'm just like, whereas disco music, you know, I'm like kicking and punching. And
that's funny you say that. So I used to love kickboxing. Kickboxing was the time in my life. So at school, I was terrible. I was not picked. I was the last kid sitting there. Nobody wanted me. I was knock-kneed. I'd always fall over. I'd always sprain my ankle. I'd always run into someone, and I'd never catch a ball. So no one wanted me. And it wasn't, I just thought I was rubbish. So I didn't bother with sport. It wasn't for me as far as I was concerned. And it wasn't until I was about 17, 18, and my sister started dating a world champion kickboxer. And she wanted some moral support and she said, come to my class. I went, and I was, Janice, I was addicted straight away. I think I liked the fact that I could really let a load of energy out. Right. Just like to say, we didn't do it to music then, but I brought kickboxing in. When I designed my workouts, I really wanted people to have lots of different modalities that maybe they didn't do. So I know from doing my health coaching, to keep ourselves vital and strong and healthy, doing yoga, say yoga and walking every day, won't do it. It's scientifically proving now that we have to do the weights, we have to do the power, we have to do the hits, we have to do cardio, we have to do Pilates to keep ourselves strong, yoga, flexible, that kind of stuff. So I started thinking, how can I bring the kickboxing and boxing into, funnily enough, I'm running a 14-day program starting on Monday. And the music was so important to me as I designed them. So before I even designed a workout, I'd listen to music, and going back to you, Caroline, I would think, how do I want to move to this beat? Okay, right. So now I've got to move. Now I'll start writing some workouts down, put the music back on. Does it really still feel good? Right. Does it laugh? It's so important.
Oh yeah. And you know, I think too, laughter is a piece of all of that, because you know, I tried for the first time this week, I tried aerial yoga. And I'm not a yoga person by all means. I actually have been thrown out of yoga classes because I just start laughing. And you know, you have to be serious. Everyone's thinking, you know, I must stay, and they're, you know, doing their whole thing. And I'm like, yeah. I guess, well, because I just couldn't stop laughing. So when a friend of mine asked me this week to try aerial yoga, and I said, okay, well, you know, I'm like in my 4th week of PT. I am feeling pretty good. You know, I do want to get some different type of stretching in. I'm like, is it like regular yoga per se? And she says, well, some of it is, but it's just different. And I'm like, okay. I said, oh, I'll try it. I, you know, explain the situation, like, because most of the yoga classes are very serious. So this one was not, but you know, there were some awkward pieces to it, because obviously I've never, you know, worked with this type of silk sash and the whole 9 yards. But I asked her, and she's this cute little, I think she's at 59. She looks like she's 22. She's got a gorgeous body. But, you know, which was more striking was her personality. And she was bubbly. And I said, oh my God, I go, just for the fact that it's not so serious. And I said, she says, oh, I'm gonna get you some stuff that, you know, you got to be serious about. I said, well, as long as you don't kill me and, you know, whatever. So she did. I actually did a few things where I was upside down, and she started cracking up because I said, oh my God, the blood is rushing to my head. She said, we got to walk it out a little more. And I said, I'm going to get tangled. Am I going to die? And she was just laughing. I said, I'm going to get tangled in this satin thing and I'll end up hanging myself. She was like laughing. So it was a really, really fun piece to it. And we talked about that, how laughter really took a kind of a, you know, fear situation, because there was some fear in that. It was movements that I was not used to doing, and using obviously this silk piece I was not comfortable with, because I was imagining like a hammock. I was going to get in this thing and I was going to probably flip out. So she was dying, and she goes, and she's trying to like teach the class. And we had a couple other people, and they're hysterically laughing. And I go, as long as it's this fun, I said, this is part of, you know, really people trying to get out of their comfort zone and realizing that whether they're maybe not feeling their best, they're angry, they're frustrated, they don't know, or fear, whatever it may be, that even something, you know, that is really good for you, you can have fun with it and laugh, and it kind of melts all that other gunk away.
I love that you brought that up. My whole body, I mean, our bodies give reactions, and as you were talking, my whole body was starting to go into this kind of happy, content, slightly naughty, giggly space. Yeah. I feel exactly the same. Number one, laughing works your abs, I think, better than any ab exercise. Yes. And I have always struggled when I was working in gyms in London with this is the look. I don't know what it's like in the States, but this is the look of a trainer in London. All right, 20 seconds. Right now, push. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. And I hated it. Yeah. So I broke the mold, and I got fired from so many gyms because they didn't like me mold breaking. My biggest mold break was I work out with the client so that I motivate them, and they see that I'm not perfect, because I'm actually not an actual athlete. I'm not. I work very hard to get to where I am, and I know where where I'm good and where I really suffer, but I make myself do the ones where I look geeky, and I laugh at myself. So I did it with them. There would be screams of laughter in the gym or in the class, way, way, way louder than that. It would be a kind of showstopper, but we were having a really good time. Right. And so I decided to bring that into my online program. Now imagine me, I'm actually in the film studio. It's just downstairs right now. I'm on a mat. It's dead silent, because when you want good silent, everything's got to be silent. It's all dark apart from these lights at me and these cameras. And I had to imagine all the people that I'd laughed with, so that I could really bring it down. Yeah. And I was struggling a bit because everyone was very serious, you know, whether they were on sound and I was being, quite frankly, a dick. So what I did, sorry, excuse me.
No, don't apologize.
What I did was I got pictures of all the people I love either training with or laughing with, and I put them all around the camera. So I was no longer actually just doing it into what felt like a dead space.
Right.
As I was messing around, as I'd stumble, and I can't say my R's properly, so I'd laugh at myself when I'd say, let's do rolling like a ball. Right. And I'd see those people. I'm not for everyone, but I am for people like you who like to laugh, because I like to work hard. I like to work safely. I like to get results. But I like to have a damn good time when I'm doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think too, part of that piece is when you are laughing about it and you say, oh gosh, I feel awkward. Like she was doing, at one point she was doing like this, like a side split. And of course she's got, you know, the form is perfect. And so she's, okay, it's your turn. I says, do you want to like my middle, do you want it to like snap like Barbie? It's not happening. And she was like, oh my God, I worded it a little bit differently. So she was really laughing. And she says, go as straight as you can go, but not as high. Don't go as high. And what I found with that is you felt, okay, I'm a beginner, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing, but I did have success. If I lowered my leg, I got better form. My body's not flexible enough at this stage. It doesn't mean it's not going to. Now, it probably will never get to, you know, she's got the training. She also has ballet. She's got a great background. So she already has that form. That's what she's been doing all her life. For someone like me, I did gymnastics many, many moons ago. So I don't have that flexibility anymore.
And actually, it could damage you if you pushed yourself to do it, because our ligaments change. Right.
And I said, I go, I don't want to walk out the studio like I've been riding a bull, just saying. So she was like dying. So, but what she brought to the table was refreshing outlook on dealing with her clients in that moment of where part of it is some, serious, so she wants to make sure no one's getting injured, but also that playful piece to it, to know that, everyone starts from somewhere. And she said, part of it's fear. Part of it is you probably feel awkward. And she goes, and as you come back, you're going to find that you're going to get stronger. Mm-hmm. So I think, depending on, where you are in that age bracket that we're talking about, a lot of it when there's, even, we can be confident and postured in so many different avenues, but then there's always, if you're not open to realize that you're going to have pieces of your life that you're going to want to start these new ventures, and they're going to be awkward, and they're going to be silly, and they're going to be goofy. But eventually, as you get more accustomed to whatever you're doing, you're going to find some successes. And I think for some people, they think, I'm entering that phase, that menopause stage, that, what do I got to look forward to? Like, this is a step before death. I mean, some people really think that.
I know.
It's sad. And it's like, no, like you have to really change your outlook and not be afraid to stumble, not be afraid to be goofy, and not be perfect, and just venture out and try something new to kind of maybe help you get through this period of your life, I think.
I agree 100%. And isn't it incredible when we've obviously got groups of friends, all three of us, and everybody talks differently, and sometimes one of your friends can really shock you because they've obviously been holding a lot in. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons I decided to do this with Xali, because I started to learn how many women felt like they were becoming invisible or were already invisible. Definitely that they didn't have a voice, so they didn't use it anymore, because where's my identity gone? I don't feel, some women might have had their identity wrapped up in their sexuality and feel like once their body shape changed, if that was something that happened, or their energy or even their libido. So they kind of dull themselves down and stop talking, even to their friends. Let's normalize it. I've gone straight back to what I'm doing here, but I just feel like women deserve every chance to do what they enjoy, no matter what age. Why do we have to wait until we're 70 to know where we are in life and know what makes us happy and know we're on the right path? Sod that. Let's get there now, but let's talk, let's laugh, let's cry, let's shout, let's do it all, but always going for the positive at the end. And like you say, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is really important, as long as we feel like we're being held by someone, whether it's energetically, physically, all of those things, then we feel like step by step, we can do it. Whereas if you'd have hung upside down with your legs akimbo and spinning around faster and faster, being called Demi Moore, you might have freaked and God knows what. But the point is, your beautiful trainer, step by step, built your confidence.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the most important things. Anybody, not just women, human.
Right. And again, it goes back to just, I always look at it as, what's the worst that's going to happen? As long as I'm not going to die, although there was a couple of times I might, they were trying to get us to do this like little flippy thing or whatever in it. And I actually did it, but you're like, wrapped in this silk thing. And I'm like, oh my God, how the hell am I getting out of this thing?
Well done though.
But she stood there with me and, really explained, where your feet go and your ankles go and wrapping it around and all that nonsense. And, but I think people, part of, you go to when you think of a child and a child, how they can do what they can do because they don't live in, they haven't experienced all these different things and they just, fear is not even on their list. They go for it. And I think as we age, especially women, the tendency to put yourself out there for fear, maybe it's fear of judgment, fear of not, looking your best, fear of not performing your best and whatever it may be. And I think, like you say, kind of go, it's reverse puberty almost, to go back to that fearless piece that everyone has it in them. They just got to dig it out.
Yeah, it's funny. Right next door is a circus. And when we first moved here, my little girl was 4 and she wanted to do the flying trapeze. And it's high. It's really hard.
It is hard, yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to help her, I had to do it. I wrapped myself up on that. In fact, it was going up on the rickety ladder. Oh, and then there's the minute where you have to jump. It's kind of like skydiving. I did the same. That was when I was much younger. I do feel like my fear levels, I don't know about you two, but my fear levels have changed as I get older. Things that I just would have jumped into, I'm a little bit like when the surf is really big, I don't want to get on the surfboard because I might be held down for just a bit too long than I can handle. Right. But anyway, I did it, same as you. And I've got it on film. I squealed and screamed with laughter because I was just so proud. And I also made the catch. So you swing, and then you fly through the air and you catch onto a fit, virile, lovely man.
Well, I will tell you, I won't be doing any Fear Factor type of routine anytime soon.
But you do kickboxing.
I do kickboxing. Oh, I love it. I'm addicted to it, for sure.
You do competitions?
No,
I was never into that either. It's just the actual kickboxing, isn't it? It's addictive.
It is. And what I love about it too is, I would have never imagined myself doing kickboxing, much less falling in love with it. I have my own commercial grade bag right in front of me here. I enjoy it so much. And I'm going to do a little sparring with Johnny when he comes up, Carol Sue's husband.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, he loves the boxing and and I think that's too is I think people when they women when they're going through this period and they're almost trying to reinvent themselves, they sell themselves short in the possibility of, you know, okay, maybe I used to do this all the time, but maybe I've got another drive, another passion.
I'm going to bring something up though. I'm going to bring something up that I have learned the hard way. And I've spent a lot of time talking to women's specialist health about it. When we go through perimenopause and especially menopause, you may well know this, we have a very similar hormone to relaxin in our body, which affects our ligaments. And research shows that women going through these hormonal changes are much, and I mean about 70% more likely to tear their shoulder,
Yes.
hip. Shoulder and hips is the big one, injuries to hamstrings and lower backs. And it's not just because we've got older, it's actually the hormones that are changing in our body and making things more lax. So
Right.
I'm very, very passionate about really helping people understand how to move safely for their body, really listening to how it's feeling for them. Because say they're in a class, say they're, let's face it, I can't actually kickbox anymore because I have my pelvis, I've got so many micro tears in my hips, I've got bursitis. I haven't fared very well with this hormonal change physically. I've had a lot of challenges and had to change the way I do things, but I still do things hard. I've just had to change it. But what I want to teach women is things do change. Some women are so lucky and they don't have that, and more power to them. I'm dead chuffed, but really jealous of them. But those of us who do suffer, and I'm one of them, we really have to start micro listening to say I'm doing boxing. I've worked with some trainers. I get so caught up in it. I love it. The adrenaline starts going. I don't know until the next day that I overdid it.
Right.
By then I've already torn something. I'm not talking snap something off, but it's something I need to rehab. I need to put money into. I don't have the money to keep paying for all the physical therapists that you need to do to rehab. And I'm someone in the business. I know what to do to bring my body up. So with Xali, there's so many HIIT workouts out there, and I'm well aware that when you go through perimenopause and menopause, our body shape changes. So there's a desperation that kicks in for a lot of women.
Right.
So signing up for this program promises us to lose belly fat and trim our thighs, and they push, and they end up in a really bad way. And then it either puts them off for good, or they just think that they need to just
hang it up.
Yeah, just hang it up.
Just hang it up. Can't do it.
Yeah. So I'm passionate about changing the way that we all do it, but everybody's going through their own experience. So I will never stand up and say, don't squat all the way down past your knees because it's bad for you, because no, that's rubbish. As you know, in kickboxing, we have to go way past the range of movement.
Right.
But if it doesn't feel good for you, well, then you shouldn't be doing it. And if you don't know how your body feels when you're moving, then you need to slow the hell down and listen.
Oh, right. And the other piece of that is, maybe, you always weightlift, or you did so many reps within so many sets. Well, guess what? Lighten up the weight and do more reps within the sets, or keep the same reps, but maybe do more sets. There's ways to adjust. And it's really, like you said, it's really listening to the body, knowing that, hey, my body's not going to move this. It doesn't have the same flexibility. It doesn't mean I can't get there, but I mean, and I think the hard part, when I talk to women is, I'll never get back to what I was. That may be, but embrace, and put in the work to get to where you want to go, even if it isn't exactly where you were 20 years ago, 30 years ago. There's a reason why our bodies do what it does, but you still got to respect it for longevity, in the sense of feeling your best the longest you can without the injuries. Because, the injuries that could spiral so badly where, that person will give up, or that one will say, oh, well, I'll just read books for the rest of my life, or, I won't do any kind of movement, which is the worst thing you can do.
Yes, exactly. Actually, sorry, I can't. I get on a bit of a hamster wheel and I can't stop. The other thing I'm super passionate about is, and I know you ladies will know this, one of the first things we lose as we age is not strength, it's power. So very simply, power. I'm talking as we really age, to get out of bed, to get out of a chair, to get out of the bath. So something that I have for the last, I don't know, 6 years since I went on this incredible health coaching course, I focused on making sure that people don't even know I've added it in, but we're training bodies for power, and power doesn't have to look like CrossFit. Power doesn't have to look like, it's what you were saying about changing the weights, changing the there is no hard and fast rule, but you need to be able to get off the ground from a relaxed position without holding on to something, unless you've got an injury or a disability. And if you can't, you need to be able to train so that you will. Otherwise, you don't have a very good prognosis as you get older. And I want to live life to the full for as long as I can. I want to be that granny, like everyone's going, holy crap, what's she eating today? And that's the point, isn't it? There's so many parts of the puzzle. It's not just the movement, it's what are you inside your body.
Exactly.
So I wanted people to start thinking about how are they fueling themselves. And it's great. We've got keto, we've got paleo, we've got all these different kind of, I'm going to call them modalities for eating, because I hate the word diet.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah. Eat what makes you happy. Eat what makes you feel good. But let's face it, we want results. You know, we're sat here talking about women going through changes. Most of the women I hear about, read about, are so sad about the way their bodies change. They want results, and damn it, we deserve to get results. But it's all about finding what makes your body tick, what fuels it really well, what makes it look good. All of it matters, all of, you know, the hydration. And the more we start to talk about that rather than a specific diet, what works for you won't work for me necessarily.
Exactly.
And so can we be okay with that? Can we just say, let's cut out the processed stuff? If we've made it, if we've chose all the ingredients, we're pretty sure we're knowing that what's going inside us is good. We might need to supplement a little bit here and there. But if we're going and choosing foods from all the food groups, the healthy ones that cavemen used to grab, well, then we're probably going to be doing quite well. And if we're doing the breath work, the meditation, the joy things, you know, the things that make us happy, play with our kids, play with the grandkids. If I can't play with my grandkids, I've done something wrong.
Right. And I think for many, I mean, that's their first thought, especially when they have that first grandchild. Am I going to be able to sit on the floor and play with that child and get myself up where I'm not doing, like, you know, some sort of roll into another roll, into another roll, so I could be able to grab something to get my body up. And I think the whole piece about the food industry as a whole is, I truly believe, and Jan and I talk about this all the time, that you should never deprive yourself of anything. And healthy is not a bad thing. Healthy does not, you're not eating celery sticks and carrot sticks. Healthy means balance, nutrition. And we know that we can't just get nutrition just from food alone, because no one's going to eat a salad, you know, 3 meals a day and, you know, a little bit of protein, call it a day. It's not realistic. You can't sustain it. So therefore, I agree with you. The word diet, we all diet. Diet is just eating. And it's all it means is, are we eating a balanced diet, or, you know, are we going after things that, you know, our body's craving because we're lacking nutrition in other areas? That's usually why most people have cravings. Don't you think, Jan? It's just, we talk about that, you know, colorful plates. Healthy is not bad. And people, you know, has a negative connotation. It's negative to them when they hear that word, and healthy is not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, I think of nutrition as functional, healthy nutrition, along with functional movement, functional exercise, however you want to refer to it to. I mean, okay, you have a bummed out knee or something. Well, you can still sit in your chair and get in a full body workout. So I think the more we focus on what we can do, maybe do it differently versus what we can't do, we as women would be giving ourselves a lot more credit than we are right now. I think.
I think you've raised something really important, Janice, as well. Most women are very good at comparing themselves to others. I know I do. And a lot of, like, I've tried so many different challenges and apps, and like, I love it. And I love being in classes. I love one-on-one with trainers, but I'd compare myself a lot. And if I signed up for something, getting an eating plan or a menu really didn't work for me, because I have a stomach condition and I have so many intolerances at this time. I'm really hoping they don't always stay. I keep trying to reintroduce, but at the moment there's quite a lot of foods I can't eat. I could never go vegan because most of the vegetables leave me in a lot of pain, but they're healthy, right? What the hell are you saying, Naz? You're supposed to be a health coach. You're not eating cauliflower or broccoli. They're superfoods, but they're not superfoods for my body. So when we built the platform, we wanted to give people the chance when they went in to choose what foods, not specific foods, but how they like to eat, whether it was vegan or if they were pescatarian. So the same with the exercise, how do you want to feel? We wanted to do the same with the food, but what's really interesting is we've come out with this and people still say, but what's the meal plan? They want to be told, this is the set thing, this is what you do, this is what gets results. And I'm going against the grain, and I'm actually not too popular for it. And I feel like I'm going hard up a mountain, because I'm saying, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm going to give you all these amazing recipes, and I'm going to ask you, how do you want to feel today? Do you want something that's anti-inflammatory? Do you want something for energy? Do you want something because you're celebrating with friends? Because that's what you're going to click on. And then we give you a recipe idea for that. Or you can go in the library. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you what to eat, because that's not my responsibility. No. And I might get it wrong.
Right, because everyone's, we talk about that. We look different. We have different personalities. We've got different issues with our gut, and we're all different. Our nutritional gaps are not the same as anybody else's. So, common sense. People have to remember common sense. Like, no, I can't eat a bag of chips every single day. I can have, maybe a few chips here and there, but that's my weakness. So I'm not going to do that. And that's one of Jan's weaknesses, is she's one of those that,
can't be trusted around a bag of chips.
So she knows that. So she knows that. So she doesn't need a trainer telling her, don't eat the bag of chips. She already knows she can't eat the bag of chips. So I think a lot of healthy food gets a bad rap. And I think we need to change that. And we also need to change the narrative with women about the comparison, and just, be comfortable in your own skin and do what's right for yourself, which may be a different path than your best friend. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, totally. You can still be in a tribe, but not all doing the same thing, right? Wouldn't it be lovely if it started to go almost back in time? Like I fantasize about the way that villages would be, where women would be together while the men went off hunting, and they would all be supporting, whether it's the young coming through and telling them it's okay about the bleed they're having.
Right.
Or it could be the really much more mature ones telling people like me, it's okay that everything's stopping, your body shape's changing. And you know what, you have terrible mood swings, and these hot flushes, they'll go away. Wouldn't it be lovely if the young could then lift the more mature ones with energy? We don't have that kind of community, tribal feeling anymore as women, because we're multitasking all the time. We live in a different world. I'm not quite sure how I think that it can come back, but I know that's one of my visions, one of my dreams, that there is that we can be individual within the tribe.
I agree. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Naz, before we sign off for the evening, how can our viewers and listeners get in contact with you?
So I've put the old logo up behind. So if they just look at xali.com.au, XALI, they'll go straight to the website. And then they can get an idea of the fact that we've got eat, move, learn, and community. It's very clear. We've worked hard on a nice visual website. I'm like that. pop in there, and then you can just go click your free trial, start here, and then they'll set up their journey and they'll understand exactly how we've approached the emotional being, and also setting up a journey to reach your own personal goals.
Love that.
I'm also on Instagram, so you can look at me personally as Naz De Bono or the Xali movement.
Wonderful.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. We hope that you definitely consider coming back to visit us again. As a lot of people know, TwoSistas is getting very close to that 500th episode. We're not sure when that will be, because Carol Sue and myself will be traveling here, there, everywhere. You just never know where we're going to pop up. We want check out Xali, check out Naz's different profiles, and obviously I'll make sure that all that Naz's information gets in the show notes. We just want to say Trending Thursday in the USA, and an amazing, fantabulous Friday for not only our guests in Australia, but her viewers and listeners as well. My name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. We're hitting 500, Casu, and I'm with TwoSistas,
and this is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, signing off on this Trending Thursday. What do we say about trending? You know, there's so many things on your devices, right? Your news alerts, your this new gadget. How about you be the trendsetter for this Trending Thursday? And don't forget, tomorrow, even though Naz is already there, Fantabulous Friday is the day. So all you Aussies out there, give yourselves a pat on the back that you made it through a week. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate some of those wins that didn't quite get to where you want to go, because guess what? You can put them on for next week. With that, we will see the U.S. tomorrow for Fantabulous Friday. Everyone else, have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday Mindset. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.